Hey, welcome to Tabletop Skirmish Games. I'm Lee, and in this video I'll show you how I painted the Scions of the Flame Fireborn using contrast paints. Here's the model all primed and ready to go, and I used the Citadel Wraithbone spray and Citadel glue to assemble the model. The brush I'll be using for most of this video is the Wargamer character brush by Army Painter. The techniques I'm using here are really simple, all beginner techniques to get a tabletop battle ready finish, and you can use them for all the models of the warband. Okay, let's get started. So with some Citadel white base paint, I just took that and applied it to all the areas of flame, and this is because I want a kind of brighter undercoat to put the flame effect on top of. While that base coat was drying, I got some contrast fire slayer flesh and then applied that to all the flesh areas, and there's not much on this model, just on the arm here and the head. And I used quite a bit of paint and made sure I ended my brush stroke where I wanted most of that paint to build up in the recesses, and that's going to give the shadows and make it a real nice dark deep tone. Where I wanted the more highlighted areas, I just wicked it away with my brush and guided the paint to where I wanted it to settle the most. Next I did the handle, and for that we've got some Iyanden yellow contrast paint, and this is going to fill in all the areas we can see of the main handle of both weapons. You can see on this other model, the Inferno Priest, you can get a really cool effect, like a gradual effect, just using the one yellow colour here. So the thicker you put it on, the darker that's going to be, and you can use that to your advantage by putting it on at the base and spreading it thinner as you go nearer the top. Now we're going to use that same yellow along with Gryph-hound orange, and then the contrast fleshed hair as red, and this is for our fire effect. And this is a wet blend technique, so I've got all my pots open and ready to go at the same time. And the first step for this is to apply the Iyanden yellow over every part of the flame, but we're just going to leave a little tiny bit of the white showing through where the flame meets the metal. The contrast paints are really great for this wet blending technique because they don't dry so fast, and the more you put on, obviously the longer it's going to take to dry, so it gives you plenty of time to kind of work the paint where you want it, make sure it pools in the areas you want the flame to have a darker yellow shade. And you really can get quite a cool effect from this wet blending technique with contrast paints to get something that's tabletop ready quite quickly. So that yellow's applied to almost every part of the flame, and we go straight in with the orange, and I want quite a dark orange red flame for this warband, so I'm putting this paint on about 60 to 65% of the flame, and I'm just working it in to that yellow and going a little bit heavier from the tip of the flame down to the base there. And now I'm going for the red, and again starting at the tip of the flame, but now I'm looking to do about 30% of the flame in red, and then we're going to work all those colours together, and all the little flames that flick off from the side, I kind of treat those as individual flames and give them the same ratio of 100% yellow, 60 to 65% orange, and 30% red. Once those three paints are applied, I then start going back into the yellow, and then I'm just putting some more yellow where the orange and yellow paints meet, and then I'm mixing those colours together. And then again with the orange, I'm going in between the red and the orange, and then taking a little bit more red, tiny bit, and just making sure that blend is nice. So we're getting a few different blends here, and the good thing with the contrast paints, if you put too much on, you can dry off your brush on some kitchen towel and then wick away the excess and then keep going. So you've got plenty of time to get this right. For the finishing touch, we're going to take some contrast black Templar and a tiny bit on our brush. We're just going to paint the very tips of the flames, and this is going to give us an indication of where the flame is turning into smoke. There's not much flame on this model, so if you want to see this effect shown in more detail, you can check out my other models such as the Brazen Champion, and I've even done a separate video on how to paint flames for this warband. With the flame done, it's time to take some snakebite leather contrast paint, and this is for all the leather parts of the miniature, including the belt and the straps. This snakebite leather is a really great paint. It leaves such a cool effect at the end, and just with one coat you're going to get all your shade and highlight looking really good. You can put like extra layers on if you want and play around with it to get some different effects. such as in between where two bits of leather kind of overlap. You can put a tiny bit in the kind of shadow area, and that's going to darken that up. But really with this, one coat is enough, and it really does look good. So here you can see I've only put one coat on, and it really looks like leather. Now we're going back to the Contrast Black Templar, and this is going to be for the black leather boots. And one coat of this is enough, one good thick coat. I find if you put two coats of this on, which I did when I first started painting the Warband and the other miniatures, then it's just too much. But one coat of Black Templar is going to give you some nice shade, enough highlights, and a nice effect that remains black, but is like opaque enough for you to see all different tones coming through. You'll find with the contrast paints, some are a lot thicker and darker than others. So like with the Snakebite Leather, that goes on in one coat, whereas some other paints like the Griff Charger Grey, they're quite pale. So you really just have to get used to it and experiment. But it doesn't take long. Once you've painted a couple of miniatures, you'll really get a good feel for how much paint you can put on. Now we're on to the Contrast Basilicanum Grey paint, and this is going to be for the trousers. And again, just one coat of this is enough. This is quite a dark grey, so you can just put one coat on. And I'm going quite thick here because I want some nice dark shadows where the materials overlap or where the creases in the leggings there. So I'm putting quite a lot on and using my brush to push it into the recesses and wicking away where I want the highlights to be the best. So now I'm moving on to another section, and I've got my brush loaded with paint, and I'm starting where I want the shadow to be the darkest, and I'm using my brush to guide it into those recesses and just wiping a little bit away there where it's gone on to another section. But I'm using that paint, really guiding it where I want it to go. I'm letting the contrast paint do all the work here. I'm just making sure the highlighted areas don't have too much paint on, and the darker shadows is where I'm making it all kind of pool and gather the most. That's all the trousers done, and now we're going to take some Pterodon turquoise, and this is going to be for those awesome scales that they wear, like a cloak, and these are going to come from the wild beasts, the fire-breathing beasts that they hunt, and that's where they get all their powers from. So this is a really great colour, really deep tones, and this is going to fill in all those gaps and crevices with a nice dark shadow, but really keeping a vibrant colour. And that vibrancy is really going to contrast nicely against the leather and against the orange and red that we'll use later on the other parts of the materials. So I'm loading the brush up here and I'm putting quite a lot of paint on, but I'm just starting where I want most of the paint to end up, but also ending my stroke and guiding the paint along to the recesses as well. But I'm still trying to be as careful as I can not to get that contrast paint onto other sections. If you do, the best thing to do is just to let it dry, then go over it again with like a base of the Wraithbone like paint or a white paint, and just tidy those areas up before you apply the next contrast paint. Otherwise those tones are going to show through. And that's what I'm going to do here with the Ceramite White, and I'm just taking a little bit and tidying up that piece of material there that's going to be orange. So I've used white because I don't have the Wraithbone as a base pot, but the white is good because it's going to make the orange be a bit more vibrant. So I'm just putting white now over every section of the cloth and material that I am going to paint that orangey red later on. So I'm putting a fair amount on here, nice covering, and just one coat is usually enough to cover up any little mistakes there. Once that Ceramite White was completely dry, I took some Griffhound Orange, and I'm going to put a nice, generous, thick coat all over that material. And again, it's really loading the brush up and then getting quite a lot on there where you want the shadows to be. This model hasn't got that many creases, so it's not going to be as effective as it is on some of the other models. It's certainly going to give us enough shadow and texture to make this effective as a tabletop ready standard. Here you can see I've just swapped out into a small brush as there's a tiny bit of orange cloth there around the neck, and I was finding it difficult to get in, so I just moved to a smaller brush. There we go, and just going around the back of the model as well there with that orange. Now we're going to move away from the contrast paints and take some Vallejo colours, and I'm going for a dark green, a dark blue and white, and you can use any colours for this that work. And then I'm going to mix them together with an old scruffy brush, and I'm going to make a nice dark kind of teal colour. and then one that's a little bit lighter. And these are going to be highlights for those cool scales. First I take the darker of the two highlights, load up my brush and wipe away most of the paint on a kitchen towel. And you really want hardly any paint on the brush for this, so it's exactly as it says. You want it to be dry so that the paint is just kind of rubbing off onto the raised areas of the model. And I'm kind of trying to use downward strokes mostly to cover those raised areas and give a nice highlight, so we keep the dark shadows from that contrast paint, but now we're getting a lot more depth to the whole piece with a highlight. And once the first one's completely dry, I move on to the more brighter of the two. Again, load my brush, get most of the paint off on a paper towel, and then start dry brushing that all over the scales. And I go a little bit heavier on the raised areas where they're kind of higher up, and I'm going to get most of the highlights. And then I try to avoid obviously all the other parts of the model that's been painted, and try not to get any into the shadows and the recesses, so we keep that nice contrast between a bright highlight and dark shadows underneath. There we go, that's all done. And you can see here just how like dark the paints are on the palette compared to the model, and it just shows that like highlights can be actually quite dark. They don't have to be like really light, and they certainly don't have to be white. So you can see here I'm getting some of that turquoise paint, and it's really dark, so I can just go in stages, making it lighter and lighter and applying highlights, as many as you like. Now we're going to take some technical contrast medium and contrast flesh tearers red, and we're going to mix them together. I'm taking 4 parts contrast medium and mixing that with 2 parts flesh tearers red, and this is going to give us a nice colour to go over the orange that we painted on all the material earlier on. The contrast medium is going to give us a little bit of a more kind of paler colour, so if we put this on quite thick, this is quite a strong contrast paint, so it would hide most of the orange. You'd hardly see any coming through at all. But here, using that contrast medium, it's going to allow some of the orange to come through and give us a really dark, rich, kind of reddy orange cloak, and it's going to look close to the colour that you can see in the Catacombs book and the artwork for the Scions of the Flame. As we did with the orange, I'm going in with quite a lot loaded onto the brush, starting in the areas I want it to be darkest and then spreading it around to kind of cover the whole piece, but I'm just leaving the very edges orange, so you can see the line at the bottom of the cloak there. It's just still orange, and that's going to give us a nice kind of edge highlight for free, and it's going to give a nice kind of contrast to the dark red that's going to settle into the shadows. I think if you mixed the red and orange together and applied one coat, you'd get a similar colour, but what you wouldn't get is the kind of highlights that I'm looking for here, and certainly on those kind of raised patterns and the edge highlighting that I'm trying to get. So there's lots of ways of doing this, but I found this doing the terrain pieces, that overlapping the 2 contrast paints gives some really nice effects. Putting a dark colour over a lighter colour, like we have done here, works really well, but it's not so effective if you do it the other way around and put a light colour over a dark. So you just got to experiment and play around and see what results you get from it. There we go, that's all applied now, and you can see as I turn it on the back piece under the scales, that's perfect for this effect. It leaves some really nice shadows. Now we're moving on to all the metalwork with some lead belcher base paint, and we're going to cover this over every part of the model that's metal, and that includes all the silver and the gold or brassy bronze areas that we're going to paint. This Fireborn's got quite a lot of metal with the 2 weapons, the mask and the kind of braids in the front. So we want to kind of have a little contrast between silver and gold. So once this base paint is applied, we'll add some more contrast paint over the top of the lead belcher, and that's going to give us some really nice metallic effects. I was being really careful at this stage applying this metal paint because I didn't want to get any of it over the top of any of the contrast layers we've done, as that would be like really difficult to cover up and we'd have to go back quite a few stages. Now we're going to take some contrast agarus dunes, and this is going on the horns there, the pointy parts of that braided chain at the bottom, and we're also going to put it on that pot there that's attached to his belt, and also on the kind of hilt of both of the weapons, and where the kind of flames are coming out the top of that axe, we're going to put the flame pot with some of that agarus dunes too. Next, we're going to take some Nuln Oil Shade and apply that to all the silver areas, like the mask, the weapons, and the kind of braided chains. This Nuln Oil is going to get right in all those features of the mask, so we don't have to worry about painting little details, and it's going to fill in all those areas for us. This also gives us a nice shadow in amongst all the metals there, and show a contrast between the overlapping kind of red and orange material and the leathers too. You could use the Black Templar Contrast Paint for this, mixed with some of the contrast medium, and I would probably do 4 parts medium to 2 parts black for this, but it's really up to you how dark you want it to be. I've even seen it done with just 1 coat of Black Templar straight from the pot, and that gives a really nice metallic look. And you could even do it without the lead belcher, but I like doing this technique, and I found on the terrain that it works really well for metal. Awesome, now we're on to the final stage, and we're taking some 0.997 silver by Vallejo, and we're going to give an edge highlight to all the weapons here and all the areas of the metal that are raised or areas that will be catching light from the flame. I'm using this really light silver highlight for all the silver and gold metals on this model. On some of the others I use gold to highlight the brassy gold ones, but then I found that silver does just a great job, and if anything it gives it a kind of brighter highlight and a little bit more contrast as well. Certainly on models like this we've got lots of browns going on with the different tones, so having that brighter silver highlight works well. So I'm being really careful with these highlights, and I think looking back on this warband, if I was to do it again I'd put a bit more on, and I might go back and add a little bit extra onto the weapons. But I did go a little bit heavier here on the mask, on the raised areas of the eyebrows and the cheeks and the very tip of the mask, because that's going to get a lot of light. And I kind of tried to bring my brushstrokes down and along those edges, so rather than covering the whole thing in a highlight, so really defining the features. And there we go, that's our Fireborn, all painted with contrast paints. I was really happy with the result, and for a tabletop battle ready miniature I think the contrast paints did a great job. You can use the colours and techniques from this video to paint all the members of your Scions of the Flame warband, but I have made videos for 6 of them, 6 separate videos, and also one on just how to paint the fire, so you can find all those on my YouTube channel. I'll put links to all the paints I use in the description below, and they're affiliate links that will take you to Element Games. If you purchase through those links, it won't cost you anything extra. In fact, it's going to save you money up to 20% with Element Games. And for any sales made to the links, I get a small commission. And I'm really happy for that support that's going to allow me to develop the channel and provide much more content. If you'd like to see how I made the bases, I've also made some videos for those. So you can see how I made the red, rocky kind of wasteland bases for the Scions of the Flame. And you can also see another video that I made on how to attach the painted figures to the painted bases if you choose to make them separately. I hope you find this video helpful, and good luck with painting your Scions of the Flame. They're an awesome warband and really fun to paint, and I think the contrast paints and these methods and techniques work out really well for them. Please like the video if you like it, subscribe for more Warcry content like this, and don't forget to hit that notification bell to join me next time on Tabletop Skirmish Games.